Señoras y señores, todo parece indicar además que llega Chacho Caudé de verdad. Ahí está el senador Ted Cruz. Senator Ted Cruz. Ahí está el senador Tom Houghton. Ahí está Futterman, el senador por el estado de Pensilvania. Así parece. Bueno, ahí en la cadena Fox. Se toman, en la cadena Fox se toman en sorna que el senador Futterman se puso el traje. Ahí está la senadora Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren. Hay gente que lo pide a Ramón. Todo parece indicar que si el chancho arregla su salida de... Si el chancho arregla su salida de España, será el próximo DT de River. Creo que la respuesta de no importa si ayer te lo perdiste, ahí está para verse. Ahí está para verse. Don't worry about it. Técnicamente en 14 minutos debería estar entrando
from some fringe think tank. This is coming from inside the house.
Debería estar entrando el 47º presidente, ese que le duele todavía a los muchachitos del PRO, del PJ, de la izquierda, de tantos otros espacios que apostaron en contra.
So you have the president saying, I fixed it, and his own hand-picked envoy saying, we are standing at the absolute precipice.
Esto pasaba hace instantes nada más. Hace instantes nada más. Ahí está, el presidente con la primera dama Melania Trump, como la presentó en la cena de los gobernadores el sábado. La estrella del cine, dice Trump. Ahora la tengo que llamar la estrella del cine por la película que hizo, ¿no? Que rompió todas las taquillas. Ahí estaba, saliendo el presidente hace apenas 7-8 minutos de la Casa Blanca, rumbo, uno supone que se va por ahí por la Pennsylvania Avenue. que es una diagonal que va de punta a punta de la Casa Blanca al Capitol Hill. Hola, cabarrubista. ¿Cómo andás, tío Paquito? ¿Qué opinás de Mandani, que le quiere subir los impuestos a los New Yorkers? Pensé que iba a tardar un poco más en que se le caiga la careta al cabeza de toalla de ese abrazo. Gracias, estimado. Así es. Creo que todos pensamos lo mismo. Ahí está el negrito, el líder de la mayoría demócrata en la Cámara de Representantes. Este es el que se cansó de perder frente a, por ejemplo, ahora Mike Johnson, el eterno candidato demócrata para ser el speaker del House. Bueno, señores, estamos
and the drama is going to be incredibly physical in the chamber tonight.
Oh, the visuals are going to be stunning.
Those justices, the very ones who just told the president no in a major economic policy, are expected to be sitting right there in the front row.
It is going to be impossibly tense. I mean, we all remember the 2010 State of the Union, right? When Justice Alito shook his head and mouth, not true, at President Obama.
Yes, a massive breach of protocol at the time.
Exactly. It was scandalous then. But this, Trump has been attacking these justices personally on social media all week long.
Me parece muy interesante. Yo lamentablemente no tengo otra partida. Pero quiero contarles algo. Hoy la Casa Blanca, todo el día, yo voy a tomar cuando arranque el State of the Union, voy a tomar la Casa Blanca, la señal de la Casa Blanca, pero digamos, hoy la Casa Blanca todo el día estuvo poniendo discursos recién, hizo una transmisión especial durante todo el día. Atención a los muchachos de Santiaguito Caputo, porque todo el día la Casa Blanca estuvo transmitiendo en vivo imágenes del presidente aquí, del presidente allá, del presidente haciendo esto, y ahora están con esto, desde hace un rato largo ya. Me parece bastante interesante como herramienta comunicacional. Acá lo que hay es un detalle, ¿sí? Lo que ustedes están viendo en este momento es un detalle muy pormenorizado de lo que ha sido Presidente Trump secured $100 billion investment from Micron Technology. Cada inversión, cada reunión con empresarios, cada vez que el presidente para una guerra, cada vez que el presidente va a un desastre natural, acudió, bueno, ese tipo de cosas. Esto es lo que está haciendo ahora la Casa Blanca. Lamento que el streaming no me permita tener pantalla partida para poner estas dos cosas, pero realmente es interesante. Esto pasa ahora en el Capitol Hill, en el Capitolio, como le decimos.
Conservative young men, the patriotism that will be felt tonight, speaking of winning the gold Olympic hockey team.
Por ejemplo, acá tiene el Departamento de Justicia, envió una medida judicial contra el gobierno de Nueva York para tratar de impedir la protección a ilegales. el presidente Trump recibió al Invest American Roundtable. Bueno, están las visitas oficiales que recibió el presidente. Es como un diario, ¿sí? Es como un diario de lo que ha sido los, digamos, 365 días de gestión. Hicieron el 20 de enero, estamos en el 24 de febrero, los primeros 390, 300, casi 400 días de gestión del gobierno del presidente Trump. Bueno, imponente el recinto, este es el chamber, como le dicen en inglés, el recinto del... No creo que venga Palanoy.
Who wants to be the next governor of Minnesota?
Yeah, Tim Walz is riding off into the sunset, getting ahead of all those fraud allegations.
That'll be awaiting her.
So that gavel should be hit.
Speaker, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
So in recent years, shown up in some years, it's just been a couple.
Empiezan a entrar otros funcionarios. En un momento van a entrar la cúpula militar. Algunos de los medios, hoy el presidente, respetando una tradición, ahí entra la corte, ahí está entrando va a ser interesante ver, ojo, quiero ver cómo el presidente saluda a la corte, que acaba de darle... El presidente dijo que se siente avergonzado de algunos miembros de la Corte. Tiene razón. Va a ser interesante ver cómo el presidente saluda a la Corte. Ahí está John Roberts, el presidente de la Corte, que hace mucho tiempo que no es un justice, un muchacho de la corte conservador, hace mucho tiempo ya que no lo es. Hace mucho que vota para la izquierda, para el centro, del centro a la izquierda.
They went so far down with the emergency powers, which the Constitution said if they had went wider, it was an Article 2 national security thing, which is clearly the president. But we know he's not giving up on tariffs, and he can call them licenses, and there's so many other things he can do. And I think it was a very, telling moment that they had planned potentially to lose that.
Well, and think about how when these Supreme Court justices, because I still think there could be some choices coming. There could be some retirements in the days ahead.
Yeah.
Once that term ends in June, because you've got these midterm elections, and if there's a fear among Republicans that they could lose control of the Senate, there could be some elder conservatives who want to step down and try to get confirmation hearings done before November and let President Trump pick someone to replace an elder conservative. There's been no direct speculation about anyone, but having covered the White House for 10 years, that happens every time the term ends.
Yeah.
And this guy, Kavanaugh, in the first term, I was covering his confirmation hearings, and he looks like he's getting emotional now.
Yeah.
And he almost didn't make it because of the allegations against him, which he said were false.
Yeah.
And he barely made it through the confirmation process. And now he's the person that President Trump is saying he's hailing because he wrote the dissent on tariffs against the majority opinion.
And the president's saying second lady there, by the way,
leading light.
Pointing out, who's also expecting a boy in July. Amy Coney Barrett, also one of President Trump's, appointees, and she, like you said, facing the music today. But again, if
she could have stayed home like the others, but she knows this president's not happy with her because he picked her in the first term, just like Kavanaugh. And there's Barron Trump.
And Ivanka.
There's Ivanka as well. So look at that.
And as you mentioned, Eric and Laura Trump are there as well. I believe I saw Tiffany posting as well. Tiffany Trump will be there to support her father.
But Amy Coney Barrett was someone that the conservatives in Washington, the legal eagles, had said, boy, She's going to be a rock star in the court. She's going to be so conservative, so much part of the America First. And there's clapping going on the floor, probably, that's what I thought, for the First Lady. So typically she'll enter right before the president comes out.
Such a, traditions here and just kind of watching it unfold, but also knowing the unpredictability of who will perhaps stand up and what will happen. It kind of gives it such an interesting viewership. Why everyone's sort of at the edge of their seat,
Think about this woman who, in the first term in particular, all the magazines shunned her, and the left didn't want to give her any credit for any of the great, Be Best initiatives and whatnot. And now in the second term, she's not trying to, not that she tried to please him before, but now she's really carving out her own path.
Mr.
And this
Speaker,
film and
the
documentary
President's
was amazing.
I loved it too. Yeah. All right, here comes
And
the
the cabinet.
cabinet. Yeah.
And you see the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury leading the way.
Secretary of War, Pete
Absolutely, that's Pete
Hegseth, is
Hegseth.
right behind it. Dealing a lot with AI recently, so that's going to be interesting to see with.
And
What
it looks
is
like Pam Bondi's coming up, so we'll see which cabinet member's not there.
Right.
And Tim Burchett is one of the guys you can see on the left there in Tennessee who got from Tennessee, who got there early so he can get on TV and shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
Here's RFK Jr. with the Maha.
Scott Turner, HUD Secretary,
My son was
and
sending
Brooke
these
Rollins, I believe I see there.
Secretary of Agriculture.
Agriculture.
So, and it looks like Doug Burgum's coming up. So
Yeah.
he's not the designated survivor. He's not staying home this year. My son just sent me some prop bets that are out there. The young people like all these,
Yes, they do.
like the Super Bowl bets. And what will the president name? And will he say mental institutions? Because, he likes to say, they've let everybody out of the prisons and the mental institutions. And will he say Maha? And people are betting on what he'll say.
And hot was another one because he always says we have the hottest country.
The
How many
hottest.
times he'll say it too?
Will he say it more than 10 times?
Yeah, I
more
have
than
to
20
say,
times?
Susie
Chief of
Wild's
Staff.
there and Lee Zeldin, EPA Commissioner. I believe I see Christine right in front of Susie
And there's Russell
Wild
Vogt as well, the OMB chief.
And Secretary Rubio was in the Caribbean this week. I believe he was talking to some of the countries there. I mean, obviously, with everything going on in Venezuela.
I think
the
he's planning
shipping
next to
routes
go to Israel. There's been some reports. They
Yes.
have these talks in Geneva on Thursday to potentially stave off U.S. military action against Iran. There's going to be talks between the U.S. and Iran and some intermediaries in Geneva on Thursday. You see the military leadership
Dan
there.
Kane.
And Joint Chiefs Chairman. And again, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But Secretary of State Rubio is supposed to be heading to Israel to speak with Prime Minister Netanyahu and others, undoubtedly the IDF, for potential joint operations that could be coming together. And you're right, Kristi Noem is there in the back. She's been under fire. And there's Sean Duffy, the Transportation Secretary.
Also, Secretary of Energy Chris Wright was there. We're still trying to play the game of who's designated survivor here. So,
I haven't seen our friend Doug Collins.
ooh, interesting.
Ahí ingresa Robert Kennedy.
Joint Chiefs Chairman.
Ahí está Robert Kennedy.
As well, obviously on Iran and strikes, and sort of some reporting broke this week yet about when you talked about the preparations.
He's got some concerns that it could take longer than others are telling the
It's not a
president,
fast in, fast
and that it
out.
would be better maybe not to launch attacks.
Howard Lutnick there, obviously.
Ahí está la secretaria de Homeland Security.
They don't even want to say hello to the other.
Toda,
It's incredible.
toda la ex gobernadora, toda.
And there's a CIA chief as well.
No todos.
He was in
Ahí está el
the
secretario de Comercio.
with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, which is interesting because that tells you that they were also talking about sensitive intelligence, about what we know about what's happening inside Tehran right now.
We also had the reporting that we had gotten Starlinks over there. So when they even
Here's a
tried to
selfie,
shut
by the way.
down, there you go, the internet. Kid Jr.
Ahí está Kennedy, ¿eh?
We got
¿Qué
Starlinks
voz tiene Kennedy?
there as well, and,
¿Qué es lo que se escucha más para el país?
pretty amazing.
¿A mí se me escucha mal?
So these protesters, these brave Iranian people standing up, and there's Tulsi Gabbard, have Starlinks so that when
Está un poco lejos. Ahora
turn off the internet,
ya no ponemos.
through Starlinks, have access. Donald Trump Jr. is there as well. Now you see Eric Trump as
Ahí está Donald Trump Jr. Ahí está Susie Wills,
She's been under fire. A lot of speculation.
la primera jefe de gabinete,
But the president has stuck with her so far.
Yes, and we should know too, we're so
valga la redundancia, mujer
For her department.
de la Casa Blanca, de los Estados Unidos. Ahí está Barron,
So,
And you can
ahí
see
está
that
Ivanka,
interesting tableau there.
ahí está Eric Trump,
Secretary
Yep. I still don't see Doug Collins, and there's
I don't either. I mean,
Ahí
that's
están todos los hijos del presidente Trump.
no, I'm just guessing.
you are.
Divina la otra también, ¿eh?
Betting market.
Para mí banca en la red, ahí está Melania.
Quickly, the president.
Melania ya está en el...
It looks like the cabinet is in. No Doug Collins.
¿Cómo es que se dice esto?
Mhm.
And,
En el balconcito.
doors have now been shut. And is that Steve Witkoff in the back there? There was another gentleman that was coming up. He's
Okay.
a special envoy. Well, obviously, we'll be involved in these talks in Geneva on Thursday.
Yes.
And let's not forget that today is the 4th anniversary of the start of Putin's war on Ukraine. And that's something else that Steve Witkoff has been shuttling back and forth between the Russians and Ukrainians, trying to bring an end to that conflict.
Zelensky, talking about that too as we enter into the 50th year, saying we're not broken, but we are exhausted. And his words, I guess, to President Trump were, just asking to don't forget about us. Obviously.
Well, the president ended, what is it, 8 conflicts, 8 wars around the world so far. The one that, he really, obviously, was incredible achievement that he got Minnie's peace. Let's not forget,
I know.
The peace agreement in Gaza, it's only been a year. And when people start saying, well, what has he really accomplished? Chuck Schumer, you read this tweet.
Mm-hmm.
What is he happy about? What has he gotten? What is he? Well, beyond the fact that inflation is coming down and paychecks are coming up and tax refunds are up compared to last year and 401ks are up and you could list all of those things. The border is shut.
Y esto en estos momentos es la transmisión de la Casa Blanca. Ahí tenemos, sigue la conversación. Quiero probar con ustedes, si me permiten, por favor. Ya aprobó la puta. Aprobaste un oral, muy bien. Muy bien si aprobaste un oral. Muy bien si aprobaste un oral. El oral es el examen que hay que aprobar siempre. Vamos a ver. Y vamos a ver ahora. Díganme cómo me escuchan. ¿Se me escucha bien? Ivanka. Te digo que entre Ivanka y Mr. Speaker. Bueno, ahí está, ¿eh? Lo tengo al presidente. Lo tengo al presidente, Mr. Speaker. The President of the United States. Lo tengo al presidente. ¿Cómo por un tubo, papi? ¿No se escucha bien?
But I would also say, can I just say, when you see him coming in, look at the strength of this man.
I know.
Almost 80 years old.
Going all day.
Casi 80 años. Ahí están los muñecos con el gorrito.
Traveling around the world, giving speech after speech, about to speak for
Bueno, tranquilo. Estaba probando AirPods para ver si... Ahí está el presidente, ¿eh? A ver si ahí se escucha mejor.
His legacy that he's building here in his second term. What I think also is notable is this year they're going to have the roar of laughter.
Yes.
Of clapping.
And James Rosen, our chief Washington correspondent, is going to join us. He's covered a lot of these And it's nice to have you with us, James.
Bueno,
The president taking some selfies and enjoying, you know, the
buenas
company of
noches,
lawmakers,
señores.
largely Republicans. He's about
Ahí está,
to make the turn past Chief Justice Roberts, and we're going to want to watch that with you. Tell us, set the scene. What's going on inside the Capitol, James?
Well, this is a moment of high drama and high stakes. For
Bueno, ya
President Trump
estamos
and his
tomando. Esto ya es. Basta. Esto ahora sí, señores. Ahí viene. Saluda al juez Roberts. Saluda a todos los jueces, como corresponde. Da la mano, Amy Coney Barrett, votaste en contra, hija de puta. Debe decir el presidente, pero tiene que saludar. ¿Qué va a hacer? 3 jueces de los 9, he visto yo por lo menos, 3 jueces de los 9. Ahí está, mirá cómo lo aplaude la plana mayor. La plana mayor militar. Saluda a todos. Va a saludar a para que esta mierda. Ahí está, Ahí están los invitados. ¿Cómo que no va, papi? Que no cunda el pánico, por favor.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Ahí escuché, se escucha perfecto, ya está. Ya está arreglado. Gracias, señores. Gracias a todos los super comentarios que van llegando. Ahí está la gente gritando. El Congreso. USA, USA.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Bueno, ahí
It's
está el
really
presidente, señores.
an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States.
Se pone de pie, va a saludar. Ahí está Barron.
Second Lady of the United States.
Ahí está Asha. No se escuchaba esta. Este de Vladimir Putin, seguro.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Arrancó con los tapones de punta Donald. Arrancó con los tapones de punta, Donald. Nuestro país está de vuelta.
Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and
250
exceptional
años.
nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And
Franco me dice, ¿quién te
we've
da más
seen nothing
tristeza
yet.
que
We're going to
últimamente?
do better and better and better. This is the golden age of
Francia,
America.
aparte, River es mucho más importante. Bigger, stronger and better, dice. Bigger, stronger and better. La better report. Ahí está el
When I
secretario
last
de
spoke in
guerra.
this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a
Hace
stagnant
12
economy,
meses
inflation
heredé
at
una
record
nación en
levels,
crisis.
a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
Mirá vos, Ignacio, pasá la data.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
Sí, Roldán los jueves. Roldán los jueves, lugar de butas. Hola, Fran, saludame que a las 12 cumplió años. Que a las 12 cumplió años y lo festejo acá, con vos, tomando whisky. ¿Ya conseguiste depto? Abrazo. No, hermano.
Of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked. We now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
¿Están diciendo eso? ¿Que mi ley no llega a abrir? ¿Por qué? Bueno, después, ahora vamos a contestar todo el resto de los mensajes.
In the past 9
Ordenar un
months,
poquito acá.
zero illegal aliens have been admitted to
Acá
the
estoy,
United
acá
States.
estoy. Leyéndolos. Bueno, ahí empiezan los factos. Los
We
factos
will
que tiran hoy
always
la
allow
Casa
people
Blanca.
to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Tengo entendido que entre las cosas de la agenda que tiene hoy el presidente de los Estados Unidos para el Congreso,
56% in 1 year.
qué bárbaro. Bueno, obviamente ahí el costado derecho no se para.
And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline.
Está hablando de cómo mejoró la seguridad, ¿está bien? Y cómo la política de inmigración y de cero ilegales funciona. El presidente, una de las cosas que vi de la... Mirá vos, es el nivel, el índice de homicidio más bajo en 125 años. El presidente va a impulsar una agenda para seguir bajando impuestos, para seguir bajando impuestos. Esto lo confirmó los tres periodistas que tuvieron hoy el off con el presidente en el almuerzo tradicional que invita a la Casa Blanca a 3 periodistas en lo que se llama el Pre-State of the Union Round Table.
Of over $6 a gallon in some states. Under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster. It is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited
Fue un
the great state
desastre,
of
mi
Iowa just
predecesor
a
fue
few
un
weeks ago,
desastre, dice.
I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
Claro, boludo. ¿Cómo bajó el precio del combustible, de los huevos, del pollo? Qué locura, boludo. Qué locura. Qué hombre, loco.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual
La
cost of a
hipoteca,
typical
la
new mortgage is
hipoteca.
down almost
Bajó el valor de la
$5,000
hipoteca.
just since I took office. 1 year.
Clave en los Estados Unidos, el mortgage. Todo el mundo tiene mortgage en Estados Unidos.
And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming in factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Momento espectacular. Momento espectacular. El otro día le había prometido le había pedido, hoy lo recibió en la Casa Blanca, en la oficina Oval. Y hoy, y le dijo, para mí sería un honor tenerlos el martes a la noche en el Estado de Unión. Y ahí están. No, estos se van a morir envenenados los demócratas, te digo con esto. Párense, hijo de puta. Yo creo que lo llevó para conseguir que todo el Congreso se pare, boludo. Y lo consiguió, porque obviamente no puede ser tan hijo de puta que por ser demócrata no te vas a parar a aplaudir a los campeones olímpicos. Entonces lo están aplaudiendo todo. Es un genio. Tenés que cerrar el estadio. Boludo. Es espectacular. Vieron que estaban todos así calladitos, muditos. Tenés que cerrar el estadio, boludo. Con los ganadores de hockey sobre hielo, la medalla de oro, mirá. Mirá, lo separaron todos, dice. Lo hizo por eso el tipo. Tenés que cerrar el estadio.
The American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
Lo separaron todos, es el hijo de puta. No hay whisky negro, estoy terminando vino. Ahí está, dicen que querían que parar todo. No se pararon todos, ese. Es espectacular, boludo. Trajo a los cosos para conseguir que se paren todos. Dice, no se pararon todos.
A second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, so we took a vote.
La cabra, totalmente la cabra.
No, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. You practiced that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will
Hockey
soon
sobre
be
hielo, sí.
presenting
Ganadores de los Winter
Connor
Olympics.
with our highest civilian honor, which we
Es una
will be
historia
given,
histórica,
and which
estaban
has
como
been
locos.
given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Aparte, a Trump le gusta genuinamente el deporte. Por eso ya le dio la medalla de la libertad, ya se la dio a Tiger Woods, por ejemplo.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics, I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news.
Vamos con lo de la FIFA.
So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. as the waters threatened to sweep her away. 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission. A young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
El presidente contando y dando cuenta algunos de los resultados más contundentes en este caso de...
We also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
pega
in
una meada
Pennsylvania, and that's
antológica,
Megan
boludo.
Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's
Recién veía, lo
homeschools
enfocaban
her
bien a
children.
Chuck Schumer.
Beautiful, 2 children.
Se cae
During
de
the day
risa,
while waiting
se
tables at
está
night,
cogiendo
as her
este,
husband
boludo.
works overtime,
Y dice, no hay con qué
operating
darle a la cabra.
very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening,
No, y
and
creo que
she's
no debe estar
happy
Ilan
to
Omar, no la vi tampoco.
tell you that she
No debe
is
estar Sandy.
so much
Sandy Ocasio
richer
Cortez no creo que esté
because
tampoco.
with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and her expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan.
Estamos peleando
We're
por
fighting
goles.
for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their
Los del
children's brand new Trump
Lo
accounts.
mejor, te digo, lo
And
mejor.
I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people.
Ahí lo saludó a Fatterman. Lo había visto, boludo, lo saludó al senador demócrata.
You know, I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He
Está
said,
solamente
well,
demócrata
I
de la
just
boca
sat
para
in my
afuera, ¿no?
dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis.
Eso es lo que están promocionando ahora el presidente.
We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly. And 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America.
¿Cómo no quererlo?
For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word, they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
Espectacular. Espectacular.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, Madam Secretary. Thank you.
Ahí está el
Cost of
precio del
chicken,
huevo.
butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance company has gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own healthcare, which will be better healthcare at a much lower cost.
No hay más liberalismo que lo que acaba de decir. No hay más liberalismo. Basta de que el gobierno me elija el sistema médico.
In addition, my plan
cada uno.
requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal.
Y además, qué golpe duro a Obama.
Sounds so simple, so big.
El Obamacare fue hecho para las compañías.
And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on healthcare and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term,
Crespo, hace un ratito vi tu llamado. Míralo al presidente que la está rompiendo, se está cogiendo.
I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Ahora vamos a llamar a Crespo.
Here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
Otra invitada. Es un show de TV esto que hace el chabón, ¿viste? Alterna. Ahí se paró Melania también para aplaudirla.
So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up into thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year, as we ensure that all Americans can
Cara larga de la senator Elizabeth Warren.
Members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He'll
Dicen
get it done.
que
Find
el
enough
presidente se
fraud.
mantiene,
We will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget.
undecided
Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world
sobre quién apoyar como sucesor, si Marco
are the norm,
Rubio
not the exception.
o,
Importing these cultures through
o el
unrestricted
vicepresidente J.D.
immigration and
Vance.
open borders brings us problems
Yo le voy a
right here
decir
to the USA.
muy
And it
pronto
is
quién
the
creo que va a ser.
American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colden was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again, if they ever had the chance, if they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you.
Clarísima.
As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They
Clarísima
have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points
especificación
on
de,
GDP. 2 points we lost on
práctica
GDP,
de-
which probably made them quite happy, actually.
del amigo
Now
enemigo.
they have closed the
Claramente.
agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers.
Y algo
An item demanding the
Como
full
dijo
and immediate
el presidente-
restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for
el presidente Milei,
clean up their snow.
que es
We
entender
have
que no pueden ser
very
todo enemigo de él.
Democrats, and it would be nice
Entonces ven como el presidente
for
Trump
you to hand
dice,
in cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid.
este me agenda
So you have to
y me,
think
la-
about
y me
it.
acompañan
In
los
case you didn't know, pretty low.
patriotas del Partido Republicano en el Congreso.
One of the great things about
Y
the
los
State of
elogia
the
y los
Union
pondera.
is how it gives
Y después
Americans a
subraya
chance to see clearly what their
lo que le está haciendo el Partido Demócrata, que le está con un... Ustedes saben que en Estados Unidos en este momento hay un partial shutdown, ¿no? un cierre del gobierno parcial, y una de las cosas que le cortó que no hubo acuerdo es sobre el fondeo para el Homeland Security, que es básicamente uno de los grandes éxitos de la administración Trump. O sea, los otros también juegan y juegan duro y obviamente juegan duro en un nivel en el cual el pueblo norteamericano, en este caso, no tiene ninguna importancia. Lo importante es joder a tu adversario. Tenemos encuesta, compañeros. La encuesta del día de hoy se pregunta: el Chacho Cobete es el representante de la casta.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself, not standing up.
59%
You should be
dice
ashamed of
41
yourself.
que no.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the
Porque
removal
fue, claro
of
que fue.
criminal aliens. In many
Fueron
cases,
3
drug lords,
representantes.
murderers all over our country.
Estaba
They're
de
blocking
cuatro.
the removal of these
Y el
people
presidente de la
out of
Corte
our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
debería darle vergüenza. Durísimo el presidente Trump. Durísimo el presidente Trump contra los que reciben, prohijan y benefician a ilegales. A ilegales.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act,
Me están poniendo un resorte en la rodilla, J.D. Vance y...
Stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American
Esto es
elections.
muy
The
importante.
cheating is rampant in
Esto
our elections. It's
puede reventar el
rampant.
Partido Demócrata, esto, ¿eh?
It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to
Coincido.
vote.
Milei visita a Trump y distintos.
And no more crooked
Habla-
mail-in ballots except for illness,
Visita
disability, military, or travel.
al de
None.
Cuba, Díaz Canel. La diferencia es gigante, coincido.
And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats, 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people
Mala política, pero
to
muy
shovel
bárbaro, dice.
snow. They got hit hard.
Lo que decimos
Want them
siempre
to
acá,
shovel snow,
muchachos.
but
Gran
if you apply
padre
for
de
that job,
familia,
you need to
está
show
escuchando
2 original
mal,
forms of ID and a social security card.
y lo llama
Yet they
comunista.
don't want identification
Por su
for the
nombre.
greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. Now it's
Lo que le revienta a la izquierda, que no quiere que le digan comunista a los
Republicans
comunistas.
and Democrats
Da
overwhelmingly agree
vergüenza.
on the policy that we just
Esa vergüenza ser
enunciated.
comunista.
And Congress
Porque
should
es una
unite and
vergüenza
enact
ser
this
comunista.
common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this?
Qué bárbaro.
We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Claro, papá. Basta de la locura de los travelos. Basta.
Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
Están locos, dice. Tremendo, tremendo. Lo señala, tremendo. Están locos.
Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped
Con
it
gente
just
como
in the
esta
nick
tenemos
of time.
suerte de tener un país. Tremendo. Hay que parar con la locura de los travelos, dijo. Y esto está loco.
No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it?
Ahí está lo de que es la movie.
Who would have believed that?
Es una estrella de
Over the
cine.
past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing
Biden
a
en su
landmark
campaña
executive
hablando de
order
los
on
nenes
foster care
transgénero,
and
boludo.
helping secure $30 million
bien.
to launch the Melania Trump
Quitarse la
Foster Youth
bolita.
to Independence
Toto.
Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that
Soy
happened and had a lot
Lucaso.
of bipartisan
Ronaldo,
support.
qué
She
presidente,
gets much better
totalmente.
bipartisan support than I
Qué
do.
hombre,
I
boludo.
get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much.
Qué grande está Barron, boludo. ¿Cuánto mide Barron Trump, boludo? 800 metros.
I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zuretska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget there were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zuretska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
Gran momento emotivo y respetuoso. Ahí está la compañera que...
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
Están locos. Están locos, boludo. ¿Cómo no van a pararse por alguien que...
Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
Baker Mark, señores. De ver y ves Kentucky Strike Bourbon.
In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service. Her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation. She was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged. Shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it.
Le disparó a dos tipos de... Muy bien. Yo espero que el presidente argentino Milei haga esto alguna vez. Tiene que llevar a familiares de las víctimas, hermano.
So sorry. Thank you very much.
Y rendirle respeto. Le
Great young lady. I saw reports that were like,
lo siento mucho.
perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf.
Lo haya
The
olvidado,
terrorist shot Andrew in the head.
o no lo recuerde, o no lo haya, no se haya enterado, pero el National Guard, que está desplegado en la ciudad de Washington, porque era una locura de delito, y el presidente puso la seguridad nacional, la Guardia Nacional en la ciudad de Nueva York, en la ciudad de Washington, perdón, en la ciudad capital, District of Columbia, para poder custodiar y bajar el delito, y de hecho lo bajó en 25%. Dos oficiales, la piba que murió, que creo que tenía 27 años, y el otro chaboncito fueron, los agarró un terrorista inmigrante ilegal, y a la mina la mató y a él lo dejó. Lo dejó pero chao, le cambió la vida, ya lo ha terminado. Claro, Maxi Bedman, terrible, boludo. Una desgracia. Esa persona no debería haber estado acá. Me parece espectacular que lleve a los familiares de la víctima. Ahí está, mira, este que quedó con una. También, en defensa. Ahí está con la. Recién vi que aplaudía así, tipo Fabio Alberti. Esa cosa que se escucha es el aplauso del presidente.
I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous
¿De dónde sacan la fuerza?
recovery. He's got a little work to do.
¿De dónde saca tanto optimismo?
Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much.
Exactamente. Pobre chabón, boludo. Ahí está el padre, al lado, el gordo, este que parece un colectivero.
So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
Mirá, a los premios. Con el corazón púrpura. Ahí está, saludan a los padres de la que mataron. Qué terrible, boludo. Qué momento histórico esto. Este es un gran momento.
We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared.
Está el yerno, el marido de Bianca. Ahí está. Ahí está Lara Trump. Me parece que este es el que le está diciendo al presidente.
And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State
El
Marco
líder
Rubio.
supremo.
Thank you, Marco.
Ahí está Rubio. Marco. Marco. Please, stand up. Stand up, Marco. Ahí está Besen. Ahí está Besen.
People like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes. And he was in confirmation.
Siempre
I think
dice
our
lo
next one
mismo,
was about
boludo.
54%.
El presidente entendió
Some
que la
of the
radio es
Democrats are now
repetición.
saying, I can't
Siempre
believe
dice
we
lo
approved
mismo.
that guy.
Que el 100% de los
And he
senadores
said
lo
it's an
votaron.
honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job.
Es
Great
verdad,
Secretary
igual.
of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever.
Es verdad, pero es muy gracioso que siempre lo repita. Se para, todos los saludan, se para. Ustedes no
Under
saben
the
lo
ceasefire
importante
I negotiated, every single
que si fuera el
hostage, both
presidente
living and
Javier
dead,
Ricardo Milei,
has been
trabajaría
returned
todos los días
home.
para
Can you
seguir
believe that?
fortaleciendo la relación con Marco Rubio. Posiblemente el hombre más importante de la Trump Administration. Posiblemente.
Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible.
El hombre más influyente en la
Living and
Trump
dead, and those
Administration.
parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. They came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back, but we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
Bueno, viene el tema Irán.
Good. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon.
Señores,
Many decades.
Irán.
Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people. with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence.
Algunos
Some
detalles
terrible people.
sobre
They've
Irán.
already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2.
El presidente Trump llevó el presupuesto en defensa a los niveles más altos de la historia.
And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily. One meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently.
Con la definición muy categórica del presidente, acaba de decir que él no tiene.
And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776.
Pero si Irán hace trampa, Irán no arregla.
You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things. A lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have
Se
to rebuild that
equivocan
program a little bit, but it
si
won't.
tienen alguna duda sobre la
But we got the
determinación de
money, and
Estados
it was
Unidos para atacar Irán.
$1,775, and they wanted
Y
my
ahí acaba de
approval.
decir,
And I
tenemos
said,
la fuerza
what's the
militar
number?
más importante de la historia,
$1,775.
la mejor y la
I
más
said, wait a
popular.
minute, for one more dollar, we can have 1776. It's going to. I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar, I said 1776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also...
Amamos a nuestros bomberos. Amamos a nuestros bomberos. No son mencionados muy a menudo, dice el presidente. No los nombran seguido. Los amamos.
We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Como organizaciones terroristas, esas orgas, narco. Qué loco tienen que estar los demócratas.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that.
No, entiendo que mi ley está acá.
Very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby. Because we did that, my baby, it's becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
Saluden al dictador Maduro que se va.
And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries.
Maduro mira esto de Brooklyn, una cárcel de Brooklyn.
They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro
Gracias,
Gonzalez,
Pablo.
who grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to our beloved Uncle Enrique.
Gracias, hermano.
But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
Un preso político que tenía la dictadura de Maduro hace ingreso en el recinto, señores. Que lo trajimos. Es Disney esto. Es Disney. En este momento USA Today manda una alerta en el cual dice el presidente Donald Trump está produciendo longest.
Nice to have you back, Enrique.
Nice to have you back.
There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming.
Dice
USA Today, but the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles
State of the Union and
military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover,
Bill Clinton,
planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters.
State of the Union
wearing the dog tags. His wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military
Otro récord del presidente Trump.
Protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military.
China, arranca China.
How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take the searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing. And people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy. Come on in. So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Muy bien, el presidente, loco. Entregando premios, medallas. Un espectáculo. La verdad, un espectáculo. Habana. Díaz Betiana pone, permítete ser feliz. Who the fuck is she? Who the hell is she?
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before
Tiene
this
el
evening.
reconocimiento que
Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
este es un año importantísimo para los Estados Unidos, para los americanos. Este 4 de julio se celebrarán los 250 años de la independencia norteamericana, que es de 1776. Como todos ustedes saben, la independencia americana es anterior a la Revolución Francesa, que es 1789. Ahí está Barron, ahí está Ivanka, ahí está Usa, que sueña que le debe hacer agua a la Cheikon pensando que va a ser la próxima primera dama de los Estados Unidos. Y ahí está el premiado. Todo el recinto aplaudiéndolo. Momento histórico. Marcelo Gallardo, que ya se fue. Chao, Marcelo. Marron le metió al danonino que da miedo, ¿no? Totalmente. Este es como una suerte de John McCain, pero este no se hizo capturar. Este no se dejó capturar.
Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you.
Grande Lucas Tomasi.
Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes
Tenemos
who
hoy,
stand among us
señores,
tonight. Everything our
20
nation has done, everything we have achieved,
comentarios
has been the
de
work of those
solamente
few great
200
lifetimes.
pesitos.
In those brief
Llamamos a
chapters,
Palambre y
Americans
a
built this
Crepo.
nation from
Crepo ha
13
puesto
humble
plata y está
colonies
ocurriendo.
into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through
Creo que
an
están todos los temas
unforgiving
cubiertos.
wilderness, settled
Estamos
a
llegando al
boundless
final
frontier,
del
and
estero de
tamed the
Unión.
beautiful but very,
Una
very
pieza
dangerous
realmente
Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open
para
plains, we
guardarla,
raised up the
un
world's
ratito de
greatest cities.
tomarla,
Together we
darla de nuevo
mastered
y
the
aprender un
world's
montón.
mightiest industries, and
Acá hay un
shattered
montón de
history's
trabajo previo.
monstrous tyrannies, and we liberated millions from the chains of
Profesionalismo
fascism,
realmente
communism, oppression, and
asombroso.
terror. Americans
Asombroso.
lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We
Tenés que cerrar
captivated
el
the planet
estadio.
with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years, they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome,
Es
no
el final.
frontier too vast for
No hay
us to conquer,
desafío
no dream too bold for us to
que no
chase,
puedan
no
conquistar
horizon too
o
distant for
conseguir
us
los
to claim.
americanos.
For our
No hay
destiny is
sueño que no
written
puedan
by
tener.
the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan,
Es el
from the
final.
sun-kissed shores of Florida to
final.
the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Saludo a J.B. Vance, saludo a el speaker Johnson. Y se va el presidente. Se va el presidente. Creo que es la flamante gobernadora de Virginia la que responderá Me achico un poquito a ver si podemos ver algo de la salida del presidente. Ahí está, saludando gente. Mira, no lo dejan salir. No puede salir de la gente cómo se le acerca, cómo se le aglutina para saludarlo. Tenemos un nuevo récord del presidente de los Estados Unidos. El presidente Donald J. Trump acaba de finalizar el Estado de la Unión, el discurso del Estado de la Unión, que es el discurso más largo mientras saca una selfie, el discurso más largo de los discursos. Este es para que se entienda, en términos institucionales, el State of the Union es el discurso más importante que tiene el presidente en el año. Históricamente es el que más y mejor preparan, porque es el que está guardado, digamos, están todos los State of the Union desde que hay televisión, digamos, desde que hay cámara. El State of the Union del presidente Trump acaba de ser el más largo de toda la historia. Nunca antes un presidente habló tanto. Me parece, a ojo de buen cubero, el presidente llevó 2 horas y 20 de transmisión, de haber estado pisando las 2 horas de debate, no de debate, de monólogo, el presidente. Vamos a ver si tenemos alguna otra imagen en vivo de lo que está pasando ahora. Para poder compartir con ustedes. Ahí está saliendo el presidente. Tengo imagen del presidente.
Oh, look at this guy. I like that tie. I want that tie. Give me that tie. Put the initial, just an initial.
He's going to sign it.
Is that Troy Nell's?
Yeah, Troy Nell's
Yeah,
text.
next to Massey, of course, one of the biggest lawyers in our country.
Thank you.
Ahí está, el presidente yéndose, saludando a todo el mundo.
Mr. President.
Escuchen cómo le chupan la visa.
They love the insider trading stuff.
How's he doing? He's a youngster.
You did amazing. You really did.
Great speech. Proud of you. Great job, Mr. President. Thanks for your leadership. Well done. God bless you.
Mr. President, well done. Bien hecho.
That's a big statement coming from you guys. Yes, sir. Love the finish.
Me encantó el final, le dijo uno.
Thank you, everybody. Great job.
Great job.
Thank you, everybody.
Le dice, todo el mundo le dice great job.
No, thank you very much. Really, the best ever? That's a nice.
El mejor discurso de la historia, le dijo uno. The best ever. Really, le dice, the best ever. Aparte el presidente se toma todo joda, sabe que son todos chupabicas. Bueno, vamos a ver un poquito a ver cuánto transmite Newsman de la trastienda. Ahí se va el presidente, me parece que la cámara no pasa. Ahí hay un momento de privacidad. El presidente se junta con la familia, donde va el líder de la mayoría demócrata, el Senado, Schumer, y lo saluda.
Also, thank you for your leadership, I heard. And truly, that was sort of, I think, the thrust of what President Trump wanted to make very clear that, here he is 1 year in, what they've been able to do, not just domestic, but foreign as well. I thought it was pretty incredible. As you mentioned, Ed, the real stories, but also the military honors that were given, the heroes, the true heroes that we have. President Trump's always wonderful to give credit to the military, but it really is times of when you see that in action and the humanity behind it that he shows.
Yeah,
I think that's so powerful as well.
Yeah, I think all of those images stood out, but I think the
momentos muy poderosos,
where he kind of went off script a bit, and I think you used the phrase off camera to me that he let the Democrats sit in it for a while, was when he was laying out how they are in favor of illegal immigrants over America.
Wow.
He thought he'd have it done.
Así entraba, así entraba el presidente de los Estados Unidos, señores. Así entraba el presidente de los Estados Unidos hace poco más de 2 horas. 7:05.
Putin hasn't wanted to budge. And Zelensky,
Tiffany, Donald Jr., Eric, Ivanka Barron. ¿Cómo habla Ivanka con Barron? Cállate, papá.
So there have been a lot of stumbles there, and that's one he really wants to get out.
But in addition to, it's European buying oil from Russia that is allowing the war machine to continue as well.
Here we
there
go.
has to be some accountability in that.
President of the United States.
Here we go.
Ahí está. Así entraba hace poquito más de 2 horas. El presidente de los Estados Unidos. El hombre nacido en Nueva York, en Queens. Un ícono norteamericano que está en películas, en series, que hizo durante 14 años uno de los reality shows o el reality show más visto de los Estados Unidos. Un hombre que con un palo construyó un imperio de 10.000. Algunos dicen que son 20.000, otros dicen que son 15.000.
Look how strong this man is, traveling around the world, giving speech after speech, about to speak for an hour and a half or more.
El primer hombre que echó a Epstein.
As strong as he did, maybe during the first term.
No, he does, and I think this gives him
De
energy.
un lugar y le dijo, no, papá, acá depravado no.
He knows this is his legacy that he's building here in his second term.
El hombre que cambió la política norteamericana y con ello la política mundial.
I mean, this is with some.
So James
people on the street, the Democrats who didn't want to come, if they thought it was
que rompió todos los manuales de la política, que rompió todas las previsiones, Le hizo quedar como unos ridículos a todos los Fidanza, Caterberg de la vida, a los Berenstein. Todos creo que recordamos cuando Berenstein decía que Trump se bajaba, que Trump me veía tan mal como que se bajaba. Son los mismos que ahora dicen que Trump está muerto. Mide muy mal, que cada vez cae, que se desploma. Tiene saludos, Justin Roberts. Está esta la liberal, no me acuerdo cómo se llama la polla esta. Ahí está Kavanaugh. Ahí está Amy Coney Barrett. Un saludo muy, muy formal. Muy, muy formal. Ahí está, vamos a ver. Les pido perdón por cierta desprolijidad. En estos momentos empieza la respuesta. Vamos a ver si puedo tener la respuesta. A ver. Me pareció que el discurso del presidente Trump tuvo momentos de altísimo nivel político, destacando, por ejemplo, que el presidente destacando que ahí está, la gobernadora, como les dije, la gobernadora del estado de Virginia hace su respuesta. Y la vamos a escuchar un poquito. Me pareció que lo de affordability que dijo fue realmente muy bueno. Ahí está, esta es la gobernadora de Virginia, flamante gobernadora, Schamberger, una demócrata bastante de centro, diría yo.
Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price. And even though the Supreme Court struck these tariffs down 4 days ago, the damage to us, the American people, has already been done. Meanwhile, the president is planning for new tariffs, another massive tax hike on you and your family. And Republicans in Congress, they remain unwilling to assert their constitutional authority to stop him. They're making your life harder.
La gobernadora dice que las nuevas tarifas del presidente Trump son tarifas hacia el pueblo.
Rural health clinics in Virginia and
le van a
across
subir
the
el costo de
country
vida a la
are
gente.
already closing their doors thanks to the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, championed by the president and Republicans in Congress. And tonight, the president celebrated this law, the one threatening rural hospitals, stripping healthcare from millions of Americans and driving up costs in energy and housing, all while cutting food programs for hungry kids. But here in Virginia, I am working with our state legislature to lower costs and make the Commonwealth more affordable.
El presidente le contestó sobre esto, ¿no?
And it's
Me
not just
pareció
me.
una respuesta
Democrats
espectacular.
across the
El
country
presidente le
are
dijo,
laser focused on affordability in our
el
nation's
presidente
capital
dice
and in
esto,
state
lo que acaba de
capitals and
decir.
communities
El
across
presidente dice, escuchame una
America.
cosa,
In the most innovative and
esto
exceptional
me hablan
nation
de
in the history of the
affordability.
world, Americans deserve to know that
Dice, me hablan de affordability. Y esto me parece que ahí tiene una línea de trabajo el presidente Milei para este domingo que habrá apertura de ordinarias, el 1 de marzo. Ustedes crearon esto. Hablan de que el salario no alcanza, que todo lo otro, sí, ya lo sé. Acá nos trajo el peronismo. Diga peronismo, presidente. Diga peronismo. Diga peronismo. Los peronistas que lo acompañan lo van a seguir acompañando igual. Porque ellos lo acompañan si hay beneficio. No sé si soy claro. Si no hay beneficio, no lo van a acompañar. Si usted no le diga rata, inmundo, no sé qué, no. Pero peronismo. Sanz no tiene ningún problema, no se peronista más. Jalil no tiene ningún presidente, Jaldo no tiene ningún presidente, ningún problema, no sé, en que usted acusa al peronismo, pues no se siente, no hay problema. Son pragmáticos, son hombres sin ideología y sin verdadero amor al político partidario. Entonces, y a usted le sirve porque le suma políticamente, porque es el peronismo o usted, el peronismo o usted. Hoy es así, es o el peronismo o usted. Bueno, escuchamos un poquito más de la Governor Starmer de Virginia. Esta acaba de ganar, ¿eh?
Our president told us tonight that we are safer because these agents arrest
El
mothers
presidente le
and
dijo,
children.
mamita, el presidente te dijo una verdad irrevocable. Ustedes hablan. Ahora se les ocurre hablar de affordability. El unaffordability es culpa de todos ustedes, es toda suya.
After working in law enforcement, I continued my career of service as a CIA officer, working undercover to protect the United States and our allies from global threats, terrorism, nuclear weapons, and the aggression of adversarial nations around the globe. But as the president spoke of his perceived successes tonight, he continues to cede economic power and technological strength to Russia, bow down to China, bow down to a Russian dictator, and make plans for war with Iran. Here's the truth. Over the last year, through Doge, mass firings, and the appointment of deeply unserious people to our nation's most serious positions, our president has endangered the long and storied history of the United States of America being a force for good. So I'll ask again, is the president working to keep Americans safe, both at home and abroad? We all know the answer is no. In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor. And sometimes he succeeds. And so you have to ask, who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting. He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot.
Bueno.
All know the answer is no. But here's the special thing about America. On our 250th anniversary, we know better than any nation what is possible when ordinary citizens, like those who once dreamed right here in this room, reject the unacceptable and demand more of their government. We see it in the determination of students organizing school walkouts all across the country, whose voices are becoming so powerful that the governor of Texas seeks to silence them. We see it in the bravery of Americans in Minnesota standing up for their communities, from peacefully protesting in sub-zero temperatures to carpooling children to school so that their immigrant parents are not ripped away from them in the parking lot. As a mother of 3 school-aged daughters, I am inspired by their bravery, but I am sickened that it is necessary. And Americans across the country are taking action. They are going to the ballot box to reject this chaos. With their votes, they are writing a new story, a more hopeful story. In November, I won my election by 15 points. And we won 13 new seats in our state legislature.
Ganó por 15 puntos, dice en noviembre, y ganaron 13
Our
asientos en la
campaign earned
legislatura.
votes from Democrats, Republicans, independents, and everyone in between, because they knew as citizens they could demand more, that they could vote for what they believe matters, and that they didn't need to be constrained by a party or political affiliation. This is happening across the country. New Jersey elected Mikey Sherrill as governor in a double-digit victory. Democrats flipped state legislative seats in places like Georgia, Iowa, Mississippi, and Texas. The list goes on and on. Ordinary Americans are stepping up to run in the spirit of our forefathers. They are running to demand more and to do more for their neighbors and communities. I know this story well. I first ran for office in 2018 alongside dozens of other Democrats who did the seemingly impossible, flipping 41 seats in Congress. In my case, I was the first Democrat elected in 50 years, swinging our district 17 points. Those who are stepping up now to run will win in November because Americans, you at home, know you can demand more and that we are working to lower costs. We are working to keep our communities and our country safe, and we are working for you.
Bueno, fíjense que ahí hay una...
In his farewell address, George Washington warned us about the possibility of, quote, cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men.
Cita Washington.
But he also
Ya por
encouraged us,
terminar,
all Americans,
la gobernadora.
to unite in a common cause, to move this nation forward. That is our charge once more, and that is what we are seeing across the country. It is deeply American and patriotic to do so, and it is how we ensure that the state of our union remains strong, not just this year, but for the next 250 years as well, because we, the people, have the power to make change, the power to stand up for what is right, the power to demand more of our nation.
Bueno, me parece que está bastante claro.
May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and may God bless the United States of America.
Ahí está, ¿eh? Una de los discursos, el discurso elegido por el Partido Demócrata, por el DNC. El DNC es el Democratic National Convention. El DNC ha decidido básicamente poner una mujer de centro, una gobernadora, alguien que tiene que lidiar con el presidente y que lo hace de hecho, y lo hace bastante bien. El sábado de hecho estuvo en la cena de gobernadores que hubo en la Casa Blanca, que tuvo lugar en la Casa Blanca. Una de las reacciones. No vamos a ver nada de esto porque no tiene ningún sentido ahora. Bueno, listo. Un breve, si ustedes quieren, un breve resumen de lo que para mí fue el discurso del presidente. Mi impresión es que el discurso del presidente, y ahora voy a leer los mensajes, mi impresión es que el discurso del presidente fue un discurso excepcional, diría de su calificación cinematográfica, que son 5 zapatitos, la máxima calificación, diría que la calificación es de 4 zapatitos, o 4 zapatitos y medio. Me parece que tuvo momentos muy poderosos, muy potentes. Creo que además el presidente ha sabido puntualizar con muchísima precisión los 4, 5 o 10 ítems más importantes que construyen y constituyen su agenda de futuro y lo que han venido haciendo el pasado. Ha mostrado resultados económicos realmente extraordinarios, que dejan en offside a todos los boludos, por ejemplo, de la República Argentina, que le mienten al pueblo argentino, que además no conoce inglés y que obviamente ni siquiera sigue las noticias argentinas. Imagínate, menos va a seguir las noticias norteamericanas, pero repite como un loro barranquero que Estados Unidos está en crisis y Estados Unidos la está rompiendo. Los números de la economía de Estados Unidos son realmente espectaculares. Son 53 semanas récords en la bolsa y el mercado de capitales en Estados Unidos es un mercado realmente muy sintomático del funcionamiento de la economía. Hay caída de la inflación, hay caída de la tasa de interés para el mortgage, para la hipoteca, para los créditos hipotecarios. Hay caída de los productos vitales que de consumo masivo en los Estados Unidos. La política exterior de Estados Unidos nunca ha sido más clara, más concisa y exitosa que la que ha llevado adelante el presidente Trump. Ha hecho cosas inimaginables, como por ejemplo terminar con 26 años de dictadura chavista. Está poniendo al borde del knockout a la dictadura castrista en La Habana, que tiene asiento en La Habana, capital de la nación cubana, en la isla, que está a unas 50, 60 millas del estado de la Florida. Está a punto de descabezar el régimen terrorista más instalado en la historia de la humanidad, que es el régimen terrorista de la República Islámica de Irán. Ahora vamos a hablar un poquito de la fiscal Fein, que hoy tuvo que declarar la hija de remil putas. Ha bajado el precio de los productos más importantes. Estados Unidos además produce combustible más que en toda su historia, está al borde de recuperar prácticamente la independencia energética. Ha conseguido, ustedes piensen, en 4 años, creo que la inversión en los Estados Unidos durante la presidencia de Biden, en 4 años el total no llegó a 3 trillones. En el primer año, el presidente Trump, como ha mostrado en los datos oficiales recién mostrados en el discurso del Estado de la Unión, ha mostrado que Estados Unidos ha recolectado en sus primeros 12 meses de gestión casi 20 trillones de dólares de inversión garantizadas. En 4 años, Biden tuvo menos de 3. Trump en el primer año 18. Bueno, me parece que después tuvo momentos muy imponderables, que son todos los homenajes a las víctimas de la inseguridad. Me parece realmente muy encomiable que el presidente, contra viento y marea y contra la corrección política instalada y mayoritaria del establishment, de lo que acá sería la casta, y ahora explico por qué pregunté sobre si Coudet es de la casta o no es de la casta, el presidente mantiene una agenda que es anticlimática, políticamente incorrecta, pero a él no le importa. ¿Por qué no le importa? Porque él cree que su capacidad de persuadir y su convicción es superior a lo que le quiere imponer la agenda del establishment a la gente. Y él dice, la gente no come vidrio, La gente no come vidrio. Los resultados están claros en ese pibito que vemos en CNN, en donde muestra que la gente mayoritariamente, el pueblo norteamericano que vota mayoritariamente, cuando le preguntan ¿a quién le crees o a quién le confías más la economía? A los republicanos. ¿A quién le crees o le confías más la política migratoria? A los republicanos. ¿A quién le crees o le confías más la política económica? A los republicanos. ¿A quién le crees o le confías más la política de seguridad? A los republicanos. ¿A quién le crees o le confías más la política en contra del delito? A los republicanos. Que cuando dice a los republicanos se refiere a Trump. Es todo Trump. Entonces, ahí está el gran activo del presidente Trump. Que el presidente Trump, contra viento y marea, contra todos los mandatos, para decirlo de alguna manera, del establishment, sobre todo de la corporación mediática, él dice, no, yo mi agenda no la cambio. Mi agenda de valores en contra del transgenerismo, de la política transgenerista, de que los nenes tengan que operar, de la política en contra del law enforcement, la política a favor de abrir la migración, la política a favor de que puedan votar cualquiera sin el documento. Hoy el presidente volvió a repetir, valga la redundancia, o como diría Sergio Berni, volvió a repetir, como diría Sergio Berni, que los demócratas tenían solamente y tienen solamente un objetivo para aceptar y tolerar que los votantes no tengan que mostrar su documento, que no tengan que mostrar una identificación. Y ella hace trampa. Y la verdad es que no he escuchado ni siquiera de la gobernadora, de la muy pelotuda gobernadora que habló recién, no escuché un argumento que pueda desbancar o refutar eso. ¿Cuál es el argumento del Partido Demócrata para permitir que la gente pueda votar sin mostrar el documento? ¿Cuál es? ¿Por qué el Partido Demócrata no propone que haya un fast check en los aeropuertos para que la gente pueda pasar sin mostrar el documento también? A ver si se animan. A ver si se animan. Quiero verlos si se animan. El presidente también ha sido muy conciso, contundente y puntual respecto de algunas de las cosas que le imputan a él sobre la cuestión económica. El presidente arranca y dice, hace un año heredé un país en crisis al borde del colapso. Hoy Estados Unidos es una de las mejores economías del mundo, una de las economías más calientes del mundo. Verdad irrefutable. Verdad irrefutable. Sobre todo si uno ve lo que ha pasado en Europa, lo que ha pasado en China y en alguna medida en lo que pasa en India, ahí está cabeza a cabeza. Verdad irrefutable. Los éxitos del presidente mostrados en Davos de la economía del presidente Trump son descomunales y una vez más, como en su primer mandato, venciendo las expectativas. Estos son los temas de los cuales nunca te habla el mala leche de Longobardi, porque Longobardi no solo es burro, Longobardi es un raro caso de una persona que puede ser burro y mala leche al mismo tiempo. O, si vos querés no mala leche, es un hombre que es hablado por sus odios patológicos, que al mismo tiempo, además, yo le diría a Marcelo, no sabe nadie, hermano, no se entera nadie, no le importa a nadie que vos lo odies a Trump. Vos lo odias a Trump, no le importa a nadie, no cambia nada. ¿Qué te parece si intentás ser un poquito más ecuánime y objetivo? ¿Qué te parece? Ese es jactancioso del odio patológico que le tiene al presidente Trump. No entiendo cuándo eso se convirtió en algo bueno. ¿Cuándo se convirtió en algo bueno que un periodista destaque, que él dice, ustedes ya saben, yo a Trump no lo aguanto. Chocolate por la noticia. Ya lo sabíamos, compadre. Porque eso te enorgullece, porque eso te genera algún nivel de jactancia, eso es lo que no entendemos. Bueno, el presidente ha tenido además mensajes muy destacados respecto del tema de seguridad, del tema de las víctimas de los delitos de la inseguridad. Me pareció muy importante, que destaca en uno de los casos en donde saluda, creo que a la madre de una fallecida, asesinada por un alien, digamos, ¿no? Por un inmigrante ilegal. El presidente destaca lo siguiente, que me parece muy importante, y además me parece muy importante que eso aparezca en el State of the Union, en el Estado de la Unión. Que el presidente dice, acá teníamos jueces, acá teníamos un delincuente que pasó por instancias judiciales, que debía estar preso y que no quedó preso. Que debía estar preso y que salió en libertad. Y salió y mató. Yo quiero decir lo siguiente, eso me parece espectacular. Eso me parece espectacular. Yo digo, tráiganme una urna que lo voto 3 veces. Tráiganme una urna que lo voto 5 veces. Bueno, gran discurso del Estado de la Unión del presidente. Mucho para aprender, mucho para aprender. Este me pareció uno de los momentos también muy destacables, muy destacables. Quiero mostrarles este momento y ahora vamos a hablar de Gran en Vano. Por supuesto, vamos a hablar de
and as we continue to watch the president make his way down the aisle, as you mentioned, soon he will be passing the 4 Supreme Court justices.
He's shaking each hand, James. He's shaking each one. He just reached Amy Coney Barrett, who he's not happy with, but he shook Elena Kagan's hand in addition to Justice Kavanaugh and Chief Justice Roberts. And now he's greeting, obviously, the military leadership, James, when Iran is front and center on a lot of minds tonight.
For sure, and it's worth noting the president in graciously greeting those members of the Supreme Court.
Ahí está.
These were people who just a few days ago embarrassments to their families, who were just barely being invited tonight. But obviously, over those sentiments.
Me encanta porque ellos deben hablar.
We heard, of course,
Yo lo
from
debo
William
recibir en la
McFarland,
Casa
Sergeant
Blanca.
at Arms, the famous opening to these proceedings, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
There you go.
Look, President Trump has done a lot since he addressed the joint session of Congress back on March 4 of last year, almost exactly a year ago. He has effectively shut down the southern border. He slashed the federal workforce by 300,000 people. He has signed some 220 executive orders that have done a number of things, from reclassifying marijuana to reaffirming that gender is assigned at birth. He has accomplished a lot on the world stage as well. The bombing of the Iranian nuclear facilities, the capture of Nicolas Maduro, the ending of the Gaza war, the return of the hostages. What he has not done to date is alleviate Americans' anxieties about the economy. And this is reflected in the polling numbers.
We appreciate it, James. We're going to listen in to the president here as he president is now looking up to his family a moment ago, waved to the First Lady and others. We appreciate it, James. And he did, as James was talking, shake hands, as you noted, with John Fetterman, one of the only Democrats who gives
Este es
him
un
some grace
saludo,
these days. Let's listen in just for the macro sound of the president.
una cortesía a la bancada republicana, ¿está bien? A la bancada republicana. Miren cómo lo señala así, ustedes. Son ustedes. Ahí hay uno de los generals de pie aplaudiéndole al presidente.
Very gracious, solemn occasion. There's been a lot of applause. It's been very calm and cool.
High level. Very high level.
Members of Congress have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Gran momento de la democracia occidental.
USA.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Y recordemos el comienzo que fue
an honor.
estridente.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States.
America is back. America is back. Párate, Melania. Párate, gorda. Mira vos, frío, te lo pasó en vivo.
Second Lady of the United States.
Ahí está. Masha. Aúlla.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Mira la gorda esta cómo se para. Mira la gorda esta cómo se para. Bueno.
Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate
señores,
an epic milestone in American history.
Esto fue la transmisión especial que habíamos prometido del Estero de Unión. Vamos a decir alguna cosa. Ayer vi un poquito lo del tema de la generación dorada.
What's up is a fast-growing economy, and Trump should take full credit for this quick turnaround that's happened in just 1 year.
He took credit
Acá
for
tenemos
some
un
of it. He
poquito
also took a moment.
del momento de la salida que le voy a dejar un poquito de fondo, el momento de la salida del presidente de la Cámara del Recinto, ahí despidiendo y saludándose y abrazándose con todo el mundo. Bueno, 2, 3 cosas finales. Llevamos 3 horas de transmisión. Está bien que mucha de esa transmisión, efectivamente, y se los agradezco mucho que me hayan acompañado con un muy buen número de visitas y de Vivo. Ha sido una transmisión en inglés. Yo ya había anunciado, no iba a haber de ninguna manera una transmisión doblada al español. Yo no soy traductor, y las traducciones de los traductores profesionales, había un par que vi que estaban en YouTube, son horribles, y así que yo prefiero no ponerla y ir haciendo algunos comentarios de algunas de las cosas que son, me parece, más destacadas y destacables, y el resto a tomar por culo. De todas formas, mañana va a haber una lectura del establishment mediático y yo qué sé. ¿Por qué digo lo de Coudet y por qué pregunté lo de Coudet? Que si era, y estoy preguntando y quiero ver si puedo ver cómo está ese número, el número de la votación. Quisiera ver cómo está el número de la votación. El número de la votación con 250 votos, el 58 dice que el Chacho Coudet es un representante de la Cata y el 42% dice que no. ¿Por qué yo puse sí? ¿Por qué les estoy preguntando a ustedes? Y ahora voy a leer algunos de los super comentarios, voy a leer todos los super comentarios. Voy a leer los super comentarios, pero lo que quiero decir es, ¿por qué yo les pregunté o por qué hago la pregunta en la encuesta que todavía está ahí y ahora la voy a cerrar en los próximos minutos respecto de si el Chacho Coudet es o no es finalmente un representante de la casta? Bueno, básicamente por lo siguiente. A mí me llama la atención como todo el establishment mediático, el grupo Clarín, con sus distintos canales de 26 por a Todo Noticias y Canal 13, más Disney con todo el equipo de ESPN, más TNT, dijeron Chacho Coudet, Chacho Coudet, Chacho Coudet. Entonces yo lo que estoy viendo, o lo que veo y me permito preguntarme simplemente de ¿cómo decirlo? De escéptico, perdón, no encontraba la palabra, de escéptico que soy, me pregunto, Marcelo Gallardo, si la candidatura y el lobby para que el Chacho Coudet, también conocido como el Chancho Coudet por Aníbal Hugo, sea el próximo de de River, no es parte del lobby del establishment. Porque yo veo un gran lobby del establishment para que sea el Chacho Coudet. Y yo le quiero decir al presidente de River, Estefano Di Carlo, Estefano, tranquilo papá, a vos no te puede apurar el grupo Clarín. River es más grande que el grupo Clarín. River es más grande que torneos. River es mucho más grande que torneos y competencia. Muchísimo más grande que torneos y competencia. Muchísimo más grande y tiene muchísima más historia que el grupo Clarín. El grupo Clarín no lo puede apurar Estefano Di Carlo. Si Estefano Di Carlo es apurado por el grupo Clarín, Estefano Di Carlo es unfit for office. Los periodistas que son unos burros militantes, unos ignorantes en toda la línea, que están en los canales deportivos o en los segmentos deportivos, en los canales de noticias, le van a decir al presidente de River quién tiene que ser el técnico de River. Y el presidente de River, el flamante presidente de River, que le renovó cuando no debió renovarle al muñeco Gallardo, va a permitir ahora que el coso le maneje y le indique el periodismo del establishment, el periodismo casta, 100% casta, le diga quién tiene que ser el DT de River. Estefano Di Carlo, make River play great again. Make River play great again. No es eso con los Ariel Rodríguez, con los Gustavito Lombardi, con los Marianito Clo, no, con los Viñolo, no, papá, con la ignorante de More Beltrán no se llama la pibita, que para el Vivo, ojo, es una piba bárbara, bebotea, lo haría con ella, eso está clarísimo. Pero, boludo, basta de pendeja siliconada que me quieren hablar de fútbol como si fueran el loco Bielsa, boludo. Parece que son el loco Bielsa. Bueno, pará un poco. Y después están haciendo TikTok que están mostrándole el coso del ñocorpi, boludo. ¿Cómo es? Traemos seguidores mostrando un poquito de el pezoncito y después queremos hablar como que estamos, quieren respeto, como que hay que tomarte por bueno por las cosas que decís, como si fueras el bambino Bielsa, y resulta que te estás mostrando las tetas. Bueno, pero hermana, déjame joder. Déjame joder. No está mal ser linda, no está mal conseguir cosas porque fuiste tocado por que no hay ningún mérito en eso, fuiste tocado por el talento del capital genético aleatorio que te hizo bello, o bello para los parámetros actuales, y que además que la que tuviste que poner la pusiste en ese lugar, que es en el lugar de, no sé, de hacerte un poquito de botox, te arreglaste la nariz, de ponerte estoy hablando de la multiplicidad de cosas que hacen las chicas, ¿no? Para lucir más bellas. En muchos casos no lo logran, al contrario, logran el efecto contrario, adverso. Bueno, no me parece mal, yo no lo critico, no tengo una valoración negativa, me parece, a mí me encantan las chicas que están lindas, me gustan muchas chicas que tienen un trabajo de cirugía plástica arriba, no tengo ningún problema con eso, no soy contrario a eso, me encantan las tetas hechas en muchos casos, y no tengo ningún problema, no tengo ningún problema. Lo que digo es, no me vengas a decir que te tome por buena por tus evaluaciones sobre el tema deportivo cuando estás en ESPN y estás o cruzándote de piernas, que parece todo el tiempo uno está rememorando o evocando la escena de Bajos Instintos con Sharon Stone. Ponerse en contra de ella, claro, para mí no me cae mal ella, al contrario, todo lo contrario, me cae bien, solo que digo que como periodista deportivo, no, le falta tomar como un montón de leche, con el perdón de la palabra. Bueno, me pareció, ayer solamente tengo 2 o 3 comentarios que pueden ser incluso hilarantes si quiero leer los mensajes. Antes de irme, quiero decir lo siguiente. Ayer vi un poquito del comienzo de Generación Dorada de Gran Hermano, de Gran Cuñado. Lo que tengo para decir es que está sobre representada la población de prostitutas, sobre representada la población de gordos anónimos, sobre representada... Bueno, boludo. Y después no entiendo ¿cuál es la razón? ¿Alguien sabe la razón de la incorporación de la ultra mega quinerita de Andrea del Boca? ¿Y la de Divina Gloria? ¿Qué va Divina Gloria? Divina Gloria me dio una pena, boludo, pobrecita. Está muerta, está cagada de hambre, cagada de frío, y termina ahí, me pareció una cosa, realmente me dio muchísima pena. Siempre me pareció un personaje menor, pero lo que yo vi ayer me dio una pena inconmensurable. ¿Está bien? Me dio una pena inconmensurable. Una mina totalmente arruinada por la droga, por la noche, por el alcohol, viste, terminando ahí en coso, hecha concha, vieja, gorda, arrugada, loca, con pérdida de capacidad cognitiva, con neuronas destruidas por la falopa. Un desastre, boludo. Un desastre. Y después la cantidad de pucheros, boludo. Tanto puchero hay en la Argentina. ¿Por qué tanta sobrerepresentación de los pucheros en el programajo eso? Yo lo que tengo que decir es que es parte de la locura progresista internacional y el globalismo mundial, valga la redundancia, que quiere instalar que ser puto es lo normal. Que ser puto está bien y que ser puto es lo normal. Y yo lo digo, y yo lo que digo es, ser puto no es anormal en todo caso, y no está mal, pero tampoco me venda que está bien. No me vengan con la huevada esta de que soy jactancioso y ay, soy puto, y soy como, boludo, quieren instalar que si son putos son mejor. Pero estamos locos, estamos locos. Ay, es puchero, vale más. Como la concha de trapo, que consiguieron la ley ilegal y anticonstitucional del femicidio, en la cual, si vos tocas una concha de trapo, y bueno, tenés más pena, violando el principio constitucional de igualdad ante la ley. Ni siquiera la normalizan. Ojalá la normalizaran. Ojalá la ponderan, la entronizan. Ser puto es bueno. Si vos ves Gran Hermano, ser puchero es bueno. That's something good. Bueno. Bueno, voy a leer mensajes. Señores, a great, big, beautiful Sotu with Trump and Franco. Bueno, gracias. Gracias, maestro. Grande, tío, mandarle un saludo a mi vieja. Se llama Nevenka. Es de Croacia. Grande, grande Nevenka. We love Croacia. Espero, porque este mensaje tiene un rato largo ya. Casi una hora, 12:59. Somos 1:56. Espero que, Nico Mail, espero que le puedas hacer llegar el mensaje a tu vieja, en el caso de que no esté en vivo, que me imagino que ya no. Como dicen los europeos, tío, Alú Akbar, Alá Akbar, balá. Sí, totalmente. A great, beautiful sorrow, State of the Union, with Trump and Franco. Gracias, hermano. Rebobina, Franquito, ni un gron en la imagen, jajaja. Bueno, gracias. Al marronazo demócrata Grinch se lo llevaron del recinto por hacer quilombo de nuevo. Es espectacular, boludo, que haya pasado. Por eso le dijo, they are sick. Bueno, señores, el último cocho, vamos a leer mucho más mensajes que hay. El último trago, el último café. ¡Oh! The very best straight Kentucky bourbon. está rellenando la reserva de petróleo saqueada por los Cuca Democrats. Te digo, para los Cuca Democrats, el American Vote Act puede ser demoledor, puede ser peor que la boleta única de papel para el peronismo en la República Argentina. Así nomás te digo. Pedir ahí es estigmatizante y es discurso de odio, tío, sí, totalmente. Así es. Ahora tenemos que pedir perdón por no ser butos. Mamita. No, y por querer interrumpir y decir, che, me parece que los nenes de 5 o 6 años tienen que jugar a la escondida, con los muñequitos, con los autitos, con los Playmobil. Even with the PlayStation. No, ahora hay que hablar de si quieren ser transgénero, de si no se sienten nena, de si no se sienten con una identidad sexual diferente. Pero la recalcada concha de tu madre. Bueno, a ver cómo estamos. Estamos con 6 de 20. Y el gol terminó. Bueno, listo. Voy a llamarlo a Crespo anyway, porque ayer quedé en deuda. Ayer se consiguió. Ayer se consiguió el... Muy bien. Pará, Muchachos, tenemos más de 165 likes. Se los agradezco enormemente. Un beso grande para Jenny. Beso, Jenny. Beso, mi amor. Vamos a llamar a Crespo. Crespo tiene... Bueno, no agarran, no tengo Crespo. Como era de imaginarse. No, Palandri, con Palandri hablamos mañana. Con Palandri tenemos show mañana. Compañeros, con Palandri tenemos show mañana. Bueno, esa es la explicación de por qué es casta, y es un poco, es en chiste, muchachos, no se lo tomen tan en serio, ¿eh? Bueno, con 270 votos, 57% votó de que el Chacho es casta y 42% votó que no. Listo. Terminada la votación del Chacho. Yo creo que el Chacho es casta. Yo creo que el Chacho es casta. Así nomás te lo digo. Chacho barra casta. Chacho barra casta. Bueno, como ustedes saben, salió el nuevo disco de Megadeth. Salió el nuevo disco de Megadeth. Hace muy pocos días, ¿no? Ese nuevo disco. Hoy lo estuve escuchando bastante en el auto. Hoy y ayer. Me gusta bastante. Me gusta bastante el disco nuevo de Megadeth. No sé si ustedes saben. Tiene una versión de Ride the Lightning. Tiene una versión de Ride the Lightning. ¿Sí? ¿Qué es con lo que hoy vamos a cerrar? No sé si después me van a desmonetizar o no. Supongo que sí. Cortaremos el tema y listo. Así que esto es solo para que lo vean en vivo. Y para los que nos ven en Twitch. Y para los que nos ven en Kick. Los que se quieran suscribir en Kick, bienvenidos sean. Bienvenidos sean. Los que se quieran suscribir, ya se pueden suscribir también en YouTube. En mi cuenta de X. Muy próximamente habrá solamente contenido exclusivo en X. Muy próximamente solamente contenido exclusivo en X por $3 mensuales. Nada, nada, no es nada, $3 mensuales. $3 mensuales somos, vamos a decir así, 10.000 pesos, nada. Bueno, antes de ir a la canción de Megadeth, en el último disco que se llama Megadeth, como dijo el presidente Trump, we love religions. Queremos las religiones, amamos las religiones. La cantidad de cosas que dijo anoche, hace un ratito nada más en Washington, D.C., el presidente Trump, que sirven para entender lo que es un político de alta categoría y de alto impacto, son monumentales. La pieza de hoy del presidente Trump me ha dejado a mí, honestamente, se lo quiero decir, anonadado. Pieza de libro, de biblioteca. Señores, decimos entonces, como siempre, y para todos los católicos y para los que no lo son también, creo en Dios Padre Todopoderoso, Creador del cielo y de la tierra, Creo en Jesucristo, su único Hijo, nuestro Señor, que fue concebido por obra y gracia del Espíritu Santo. Nació de Santa María Virgen, padeció bajo el poder de Poncio Pilato, fue crucificado, muerto y sepultado, descendió a los infiernos, al tercer día resucitó de entre los muertos, subió a los cielos, está sentado a la derecha de Dios Padre Todopoderoso, desde allí ha de venir a juzgar a vivos y muertos. Creo en el Espíritu Santo, la Santa Iglesia Católica, la comunión de los santos, el perdón de los pecados, la resurrección de la carne, la vida eterna. Amén.
Señores, salud. No se olviden, mañana 7 p.m., 19 horas, en Calandri. Déjame que lo piense. Mañana vamos a contar lo de Jonah Pro, vamos a prender los juegos. Gracias por tu preocupación. Aguante el Colorado Mustang. Gracias, señores. Chau, gracias.